Okay, so I'll be answering the question, how did I get my job? I get this a lot. I couldn't add the sticker because it would have shortened my video. So, like I stated in the last video, this is going to be kind of some overlap information, but please go watch the first video for how I was introduced into clinical research. Like I stated, I use LinkedIn mostly. So how you scroll every now and then and every day on Instagram or something like that, that's how I was on LinkedIn. Like I was on LinkedIn every couple of hours, and I was connecting with people who work in clinical research. I was connecting with companies, hospitals, CROs, small site managers, anything that I can find regarding clinical research. I was connecting with them so that I can curate how my timeline looks. I wanted to be able to get notifications and see updates on when companies had job openings and things of that nature. And spring, summer is when I started looking for a job, and there were a lot of companies at the time that were willing to train you to be a CRA. CRA is a very trainable job unless you have previously had this type of experience. You're gonna have to get trained on it anyway. So, and I just would suggest that you don't have to pay anybody to train you if they're not going to give you a job afterwards. I would suggest not doing that. But yeah, so I went on to my LinkedIn and I started looking at other people who are CRAs or were CRAs that just worked in the clinical research field, and looked at like what were their backgrounds and kind of what does their profile say, and what kind of experiences have they had. And then I took a look at my own resume, and my resume of course has a lot of pharmacy technician positions on there. I'm the founder of a nonprofit. I do have my master's in public health, but like stated in the other video, you only need a bachelor's. That's the requirement for this job. But public health did help me understand the background of the history of clinical trials and things of that nature. So after looking on these companies' websites and seeing what their description is for a CRA, I started curating my resume to highlight the transferable skills. I put metrics on there. For a CRA, they want you to be very independent and working. They want you to be organized. They want you to be very detail oriented. They want you to be able to communicate well, because basically you're the manager of these sites that they give you. You have to make sure that they're doing everything according to the protocol. So you have to be detail oriented. You have to be able to work independently. There's not much micromanaging in this position, which I saw a lot of my colleagues have issues with when we were in training. And so I would say things like no lies, but I would say things if like I organize and help put protocols together and SOPs together for my organization. I trained new technicians. I assisted in creating a program in the hospital pharmacy, things of that nature. I ran a podcast for a little while. I assisted with reaching out to finding guests for the podcast. I curated workflow processes. I recorded and created the scripts and things of that nature. If you see me looking away, I'm looking at my profile. I assisted in monitoring organizational impact, and according to, if you're in pharmacy, you know what USP 797 is. That's for like sterile processing. According to this protocol, I was able to do my job in XYZ. So like I said, I was trying to find a job description, but I can't find one right now. Just look at the job description. And this is for any job, any field. Look at the job description, look at what you have, and see how you can curate that so they can see, yes, she was able to do this in XYZ field. I feel that she will be able to do this in our field as well. Also, so how I actually applied for my job, I applied for a lot of companies that said you needed 0 experience and that they have a training program. They denied my application. Like, they said that they were looking for something else, and it kind of made me weary. Like, so if you're expecting someone to have, you're saying that I don't need to have any experience, what exactly are you looking for if I don't need any experience to get into your program? But there was one company, a colleague had stated that that my company is having a entry-level CRA program. They have a great training program. Please contact me if you want to be referred. So I was actually referred to the job in the company that I have right now. I did not know this lady. She was on my timeline on LinkedIn. We had no previous conversation before me reaching out to her, and she referred me, and that's how I got the interview. But I know for a fact that I got myself the job. The interview was online. And during this interview season, outside of my current jobs interview, I feel like I was going to work and I had interviews like lined up every day. I would go to work, and then at 2:30 I would go sit in the cafeteria of my job, and I will have my interviews. Like, I feel like for about a month straight, it was like all day. I would go to work at 6 o'clock. I would get off at 2:30. Then I would have an interview, or I was conducting research regarding the jobs, or I was going to a like a recruitment event. And it was long days for a few weeks, but it all paid off. Once I had my interview with the current company I'm with right now, that you can tell that they read my resume. They were asking me about my podcast and things of that nature, and I was very clear on like making sure to match up the things that they were looking for the position with my previous background, so they understood that I was capable of doing that job. I also just when they asked me, like, what do you know about clinical research? What do you know about being a CRA? I spit back that knowledge that I had gained from doing my research. So it will be hard, but if you are very strategic on how you're doing your research and not just applying to a lot of jobs and a lot of different jobs in different fields in different areas, you won't have to like continue to redo your resume to fit those things. It'll be a little bit easier. I did want to give up because some like these companies are saying I don't need any experience, but they're still not accepting my application to move forward with a interview. So if you have any more questions, I'm not sure what the next part of the series is going to be. Maybe more in the day of the life of what I do, which changes all the time, but please leave it in the comment section.